In a world where everyone and their brother has a podcast, one stands alone. It's been called one of the podcasts of all time. Welcome to Internet Killed the Video Store.
Are you guys interested at all in the Willy Wonka movie?
What do you think, Ben?
What's it about? It's not a remake, is it?
I think it's an origin story of how he came into the chocolate factory, right? And I've heard it's a musical, but they're hiding the fact that it's a musical.
Oh, they're hiding that pretty well.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard the musical thing. I didn't know it was an origin story. I thought it was just another remake.
I think that's the case.
Origin story has me intrigued. Remake does not have me intrigued.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Well,
as
musical.
usual.
How much of a musical? Just here and there?
I have no idea.
Like Frozen, where there's a couple songs?
Where it forgets it's a musical
Right.
halfway through the movie.
Which would be fine with me.
Really?
Yeah.
With dreams of opening a shop in a city renowned for its chocolate, a young and poor Willy Wonka discovers that the industry is run by a cartel of greedy chocolatiers. So this is him getting his bearings, getting his foot in the door.
That's cool. Then yeah, interested for sure.
Yeah.
No,
What about you, Ryan?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like everybody involved, but yeah, I don't know. It's not really a property that I need to see a lot of. I feel like it's very of its time.
Right.
I mean, if you go back and watch it, Wonka kills those kids, right?
Pretty much.
I think it's got some pretty creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, Oompa Loompas are slaves too, right? He grabs them from Oompa Loompa land, takes them to his factory, and they just work for free.
They seem content.
They sing, and so they're okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also kind of slavery vibes. I mean, I guess, are Santa's elves slaves? Who's paying Santa?
I don't know, man. I don't want to say anything.
You weren't prepared for slave talk to open this
No,
up?
dude, definitely not.
We can pivot.
I mean, any old, story is definitely at higher risk
Yeah.
for wait a minute.
Yeah.
I didn't realize what this was doing here with this group of people that are so happy to be working all the time.
Yeah. No, we rewatched the original Peter Pan, and it completely just escaped my mind, the whole Princess Tiger Lily thing. And when they went into that whole song about what makes the red man red, I was like, I can't believe this is in a movie.
Wait, what
Yeah.
now?
That's considered a classic.
I do remember some of that. Yeah.
It's this is very uncomfortable.
Yeah, weird Native American representations in the Peter Pan movie. The old Disney there's quite a bit of that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
Peter
too
Pan
surprised by that.
And Tinkerbell are kind of shitheads themselves.
Really?
You see them now and they're just winking in front of Disney cartoons. Tinkerbell's kind of a dick.
Why?
They all pick on Wendy real hard. She gets super competitive. It's oh, you brought Wendy to Neverland, Peter Pan. What about me? And tries to kill her.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it gets
I guess
intense.
I don't remember that, man.
So I want to go back just a second, though. Ben,
Okay.
do you not like musicals?
I would go see a musical in person, but for a big screen thing, not a big fan.
Okay.
None of them? Not
I
even
like Les Mis.
La La Land?
I haven't watched La La Land.
Really?
Really.
That's a good one.
I mean, I did musicals in high school and shit.
That's why I'm
Really?
surprised you're averse to them.
It's
PTSD?
no, nothing bad happened. I don't know, man. Unless it's on stage, it's cheeseball to me when it's in movies.
Okay.
I like when it's kind of like you were saying, if there's a few songs interspersed, but when it's everything is sung, that gets a little much.
Yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas. They
Yeah.
have some songs, but it's not
Right.
over the top.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing this bonus pod because Max is in town. And personally, I've been avoiding integrating TV as in-depth as music and movies just because it's not my thing as much as movies, but we've been in the TV resurgence for a decade. It's not going anywhere. We're all watching TV. That's where the best stuff is being made. We need to just embrace it. So
I feel like I've been pushing hard for it, too. So, yeah.
Max is piloting here. I've only seen probably half of these, so I will try and navigate and see what we've got on your list. We've got the full year in tiers. We've got an extra tier with TV because I feel like it's easier to give up on a TV show than an album or a movie.
Yep.
Because of the length. So we've got a sixth tier that are just shows that we either lost interest in, rage quit. What was the Dolly Parton term? Disinterested.
Sure,
unenthused.
Disinterested.
Yeah, rage quit is like the official name for it, but
Okay.
really though, like very few of these were true rage quits.
Yeah,
you
I was
know?
gonna say mine. I just lost interest.
Yeah, right. But the bad and the worst categories are so much smaller than what we usually have. We had to, up the negativity. So.
Yeah. For
We
sure.
had to up the negativity.
We got a quota.
And also, it is kind of like part of Ryan's problem with this is that we're trying to review TV shows when half the season is out, and it's like, oh, what do we say about this? It might totally, shit the bed still.
Yeah, well,
So-
and like, it's tough for me to parse like the second season of something as opposed to like the big picture of the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Succession, I think, is the best show on this list, but that might also be skewed because I have the whole frame of what the story
Right.
is. It just ended.
Yeah.
So I think even though like Succession season 4 wasn't my favorite season of the series, it's hard for me not to think that's one of the best shows of the year just because it's one of my favorite shows I've watched all year. So
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I hope this list reflects that attitude for the most part. I think I am a little more willing to be like, yo, this is something I'm really enjoying right now.
Yeah.
Or this is something I'm really excited to talk about. So, like, bear that in mind, listener. Some of this stuff is just a person that's
You're a little more patient.
I was going to say a little more impulsive.
Oh, okay.
So I guess we'll see. But yeah, here we go. The first rage quit on my list is sadly Futurama. And this is a show that, I've loved forever.
Yeah.
It was like more my show than The Simpsons was as far as the Matt Groening stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I was watching Simpsons when I was a little kid and I thought it was hilarious. But Futurama I was still watching like well into adulthood, whereas I just did not do that with The Simpsons. But it's just like this great show that you don't always laugh at, but you're like, wow, that was really clever. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I smile the whole time I watch Futurama. It's been canceled 3 times.
I was going to say, I can't believe it's only season 11.
Yeah,
It's been brought
right.
back from the dead so many times.
Exactly, yeah. And the first episode is really hitting on like, oh, we wouldn't have come back if we didn't have a reason, but it really didn't feel like they did. It just doesn't feel like as much work is going into it anymore. Some of it is like the lazy technology jokes, like making fun of Alexa or how bad voice to text is or something that like,
Right.
we've been seeing for like 10 or 15 years already.
Yeah.
And another thing is like, usually in shows like Futurama, like there's at least like a B and a C plot going on, This had just felt like one character had something going on and the rest of them just follow that character around or are near them coincidentally to get panned to and like make jokes and
Right.
stuff. But I don't know. It just felt like really thin. And like I said, the fact that their first episode, they're really trying to sell you on like, oh, we wouldn't have come back if we didn't have a reason to. I'm like, can't Matt Groening just invest like a normal person? Like, I don't understand why he has to.
Why would he need to?
Break people's hearts? Why would he need to invest?
Yeah, he's got endless money at this point, right?
Well, sure. No, you're right. He doesn't even need to. I'm just saying if he really feels the need to get richer, can you just do that instead of like making more bad television?
He's at the point now where like everything he puts out is just a detriment to his investment at this point, right?
Yeah. Like true Simpsons fans, I think, are even
Oh,
done
yeah.
with that show.
That's been
That Netflix Disenchanted thing they tried to do didn't work.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's a bummer.
That is. So I see you've got Shrinking on the list, which is a show I was gonna check out because I like Harrison Ford and Jason Segel.
Yeah.
It's created by the guy who did Ted Lasso, right?
I don't
think.
know.
Okay.
I don't know much about it. I should also mention, since this is the Rage Quit category, Futurama, I got like 4 episodes in.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a healthy dosage before
Yeah, right.
pulling the plug.
Shrinking, I watched the pilot and I was done.
Yeah.
I was very done.
Very done. Oh.
Yeah. So this is like, I don't know, this is on Apple or something.
Yeah.
It's a comedy drama about a therapist whose wife died, I think, and like he can't handle life anymore. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be funny that Jason Segel, the main character, is like such a mess, but I'm kind of out on the bad dad stuff. There's some more of that we'll talk about on this list. But yeah, like getting laughs out of like, look how mean this person is to their kid. I'm like, no.
That kind of bad dad. Yeah, that's not cool.
Not like mean, but inadvertently mean.
Yeah.
Like just being bad at the job of being a
Right.
dad to the point where like, I don't know. I just don't have fun with that.
Yeah.
I like shows about assholes. Like Always Sunny is one of my favorite shows, but
Yeah.
like none of them like have kids and they always get their comeuppance, and I like that kind of thing. But
Right. It's better when the asshole's bad choices only reflects on them. When it
Right.
starts seeping into other people.
right. And I think you're supposed to like, obviously the wife passing, you're supposed to be like, oh, I want to root for this guy. I didn't feel like rooting for him by the end of the pilot. So also like, can't Harrison Ford just invest like a normal person? Like, why does he need to keep doing all this stuff? He's on TV now.
I heard an interview with Bill Lawrence talking about hanging out with Harrison Ford, and I think
yeah.
they're like neighbors in real life. So I feel like he just coaxed him in one night. They were like high outside, like, come on, Harrison, come on, do my show, please. Fine.
Yeah. That was pretty good, dude. Nice.
Limited Harrison Ford. Fine.
Yeah. I'm sad about how much animation I have in the Rage Quit, but Strange Planet, this is like a book adaptation or like a comic or something or something, but it wasn't originally this. It's about these creatures that are like humans, but they're not us. It's like some other thing. It's like pointing out the strangeness of life. Like they always explain things in really plain terms in kind of this way that makes you, as you're watching it, go like, oh, that is, in best case scenario, you're like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And it makes you like kind of reflect on some cultural thing or like even broader than that. Some of it is like more emotional stuff that like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. It's more gimmicky than it is funny. I only really checked it out because I saw Dan Harmon's name on it.
Yeah,
and
he's the Rick and Morty Community guy.
Yeah, and I loved both of those. Community, I really loved that show, and I like got really into Dan Harmon's podcast while I was watching that show and thought he was just absolutely hilarious. And early Rick and Morty, I think, is incredibly good. Doctor Strange is also great. A lot of people don't know that Dan Harmon like punched up that script.
Oh, the Marvel movie?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And it's like I can hear like his humor in it. And so I like
cool.
that. I could see this show, Strange Planet, I could see it working as a book, but yeah, I just didn't really think it worked. So only got a few episodes in on that one. And then speaking of Dan Harmon, we've got Rick and Morty season 7. You know when a band gets a new singer and...
Oh, no. Did they replace like a creative member on this?
So Justin Roiland, who voices Rick and Morty, got into a bit of Jonathan Majors, Ezra Miller-esque legal trouble recently and has been fired from Rick and Morty, the show that he co-created with Dan Harmon.
Yeah, and he voices the two main characters?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. That's...
And I really do think it's good to think about it as like a lead singer that doesn't really write much, but just happens to have a great voice.
Yeah.
Like people said that Justin Roiland, like creatively, was not important to the show, but he's the voice of the two main characters. Like,
right.
It just, and the person that took over is so close. Like they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
And like, God bless them, but like they can't hit the same highs. They can't, there's like these certain modes they can't go into. And going back to like the band analogy, when the band gets that new singer and they know that they're not quite as good, and so they're like, we kind of got to rework things on our end too.
Yeah.
That kind of feels like that's what happened.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
and
it's all of a sudden not the same show anymore. And like, I was kind of getting bored with the show anyways.
Yeah.
And so this just like put it over for me.
Is this the first full season without him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a big change. This has been a show that people have been telling me to check out for like as long as it's been on, and I just haven't gotten to it. I didn't realize it was 7 years deep already.
I know. Yeah. Well, it's way more years than that actually, because they were pretty slow with some
gaps.
of their. Yeah. But 7 seasons. Yeah, I think, they found a formula at a certain point, and they've been doing that. Dan Harmon is like obsessed with syndication. He wants to get, I think at the time I heard him talking about this with Community, it was like, once we get to 6 seasons, then other networks will pick it up and we get more money.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, I don't know. I kind of look at him like, you fucker. Like, this isn't even your best stuff anymore. I just love his writing, so I just want him to be firing on all cylinders all the time. It's not really a fair expectation.
How many episodes did you give season 7 of Rick and Morty?
3.
3? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and another animated show.
Yeah.
Like I love animation, so it's a bummer. All right, let's move on. Loki season 2. I really liked season 1. I think we talked about that recently. It's one of the few Marvel shows that I've been interested in. It was able to build like this whole unique setting that actually did feel like not just the thing that Marvel does now where they're like, oh, just put a bunch of weird shit in it.
They were one of the first multiverse movies, right? Or multiverse properties from Marvel?
Loki?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. It's
think.
more, they're always talking about time, and I kind of like get mixed up a little bit where I'm like, well, I know time and space are like connected in this weird Einstein way, but like, I don't know if that's what they're talking about because they don't say multiverse as much. But then when Kang shows up, he's like, yeah, there's like 50,000 of me, dude. They're all in different universes. And so, yeah, that gets multiversey, but it wasn't doing anything. It was like kind of picking up pieces from season 1, just dragging its feet, moving pretty slow. The one kind of like unique thing they seemed to do was invite, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, but Ki-Hugh Kwan from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the classic Marvel thing to do at this point is like get an actor who's popular from like a good movie and be like, look, it's him again. Which bums me out because Marvel used to be able to make actors cool.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, like those dudes weren't really doing shit career-wise until they started taking on those roles. And now when you see them in a movie, you're like, oh, Chris Evans. Like, who would have ever fucking thought that before? I
feel like that's their issue now. Like, they don't have any big central characters. Like, Chadwick passing, having Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. both give up their roles. I think Universal still has a stranglehold on the Hulk property, so they can't do anything with Mark Ruffalo.
Well, Loki's one of their long-running cool characters, and they weren't able to use him to get me interested. So
that's a bummer.
I think it's more a writing problem than a personnel problem. But
what's your hate on Invincible, dude?
Season 2, you bailed on that one.
I knew that you were going to have a problem with this. Yeah,
what's the deal?
Ben really likes the show.
Are you watching season 2?
I watched 1 or 2 episodes. It's going weekly.
And then what happened?
That's what Max
I don't
did.
know.
Yeah. Exactly, dude. That's what happened to me.
What do you mean?
You watched 1 or 2?
I watched 1 or 2, and then I forgot it was even happening.
That's because they're only putting them out weekly.
But if it's a show you like, you don't forget.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, to an extent. It might be one where you're like, oh, yeah, it's all out now. I'll binge through it. I don't know. You guys probably remember the end of season 1, I was kind of already not sure about this show because it seems like they want to do like the Darth Vader Luke thing, sort of, with the dad and the son.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's a bad guy, but maybe he can be redeemed. But the season finale is him just murdering like so many people. Like, it's genocide. And okay, it happens in Star Wars too, but it's done way differently, and it shouldn't work there, but it does. Because you, for some reason, don't think about the fact that Darth Vader blew up Alderaan. Maybe because he's not the one given the order or something. Yeah. I don't know. It seemed like season 2 started to dance around that, and so I was like, no, I don't want that. Mark was kind of boring this season to me, just kind of mopey. He's really mean to his mom.
Yeah.
And I didn't like seeing that. And so it was hard. The first few episodes felt like a slog, and then I bounced. So, yeah, I might come back around to it.
Okay.
You know? So
I keep forgetting they made a TV show out of Godzilla. How deep did you make it into that show?
that one also like 3 or 4, believe it or
Wow,
not.
you stuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I only saw Godzilla like 1 time. So I was like, I'm out, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was expecting. Like,
I'm kind of surprised they're not restarting. Like DCU finally pulled the plug on their universe.
and
They're gonna make
MonsterVerse is
yeah.
still like,
They're still chugging and
can
gonna
do
put
it.
out another King Kong versus Godzilla movie this year. Like, I think it's okay. Just let it go.
That's wild. Meanwhile, Japan is making Godzilla movies that people actually like.
Yeah, I
you know?
heard that one is like nuts.
Right.
I
but
did hear that one is
We're
good.
still
Well,
forcing.
in Shin Godzilla did really well. That was 2016.
Yeah.
It wasn't big over here, but like supposed to be a really good movie. And yeah, obviously our Godzillas have not been that great. But yeah, that's, you know, who has the budget for this show? No one. Like, you can't do a Godzilla TV show. I
No,
don't think.
it's like, how do you make a disaster movie into a
Yeah.
long series? Like, that doesn't make
that
sense.
too. That's a really good point, is stretching it out. But the whole cinematic universe they've created this time around is getting into all these, like, I mean, it's like the conspiracy theory
Yeah.
thing in
Oh,
those
yeah.
movies is so funny to me. Like the Hollow Earth theory.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Funny enough, in this show, someone makes like a disparaging joke about the flat Earth theory, or like people that believe in that shit.
yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, writers.
Didn't you guys just journey to the center of the
you
earth?
guys- Come on, dude.
Yeah.
That felt mean.
So, the worst tier?
Yeah, so now we're in the worst. Pretty small tier. Only 2 of them in here.
Only 2.
You can probably guess what they are if you've been listening to the show.
That's, yeah.
So we got The Idol, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing to say about it that I haven't already said. It's The Idol. It was The Weeknd's ill-conceived attempt at transitioning into on-screen career, big Hollywood boy. It didn't work out. I'm not saying it's all his fault.
Well,
but,
he did kind of, like, boot the director and refilm a lot of it, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's all his fault.
right. It's not his fault, though.
Right.
So that's the worst. That's 35. Mm-hmm. And I've got it 34, Twisted Metal.
Right.
Which
I guess it would be like rage quit category for me, because I
Yeah.
watched 2 or 3 of them.
I stuck with it just because I'm a dumb mark for the the fucking licensing. I
Yep.
just wanted to eat up the IP that I recognized, and I'll probably watch season 2 because
Yep.
they've already hooked me with saying, "Oh, it's gonna be so much better." I'm like,
Oh,
maybe it can't get worse, so maybe I'll check it out.
That's how they get you.
It is, yeah. Okay, so the bad tier also only has 2 shows in it, and are they both Star Wars shows?
Oh, wait, what? I didn't do that on purpose. I swear. I didn't do that on purpose. But yeah, that might be the case.
So
might have
bad
been
but
what
not
happened.
terrible. Yeah.
Bad but not terrible. So Ahsoka is the first one we're going to talk about. Mando came out earlier in the year, right? And
Yeah.
people were like, "Oh man, season 3 of Mando sucks." But
Yeah.
but it's because Dave Filoni's working on Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And it's because that one's going to be real good, and they don't have Dave Filoni for Mando. But yeah, Ahsoka turned out to be worse than Mando this
Really?
year.
Wow.
I thought. Yeah, I really thought so. Maybe it's because I already have like some attachment to the Mando characters, whereas
Yeah.
I guess I like technically have attachment to the Ahsoka characters, but these are live action versions of them, and I didn't feel like it was a good translation from the Rebels show,
Yeah.
where you see Ahsoka and Ezra and Sabine and a bunch of characters you guys don't know.
So for Ahsoka, is it like an adaptation of the animated show, or is it picking
No.
up where the animated show left off?
Picking up like years after the animated show leaves off.
Okay, so it's a continuation.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
think it's like close to where Mando is in the timeline. I'm getting honestly real confused with that stuff at this point.
It's hard.
Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it too much, but it's interesting because another thing you hear a lot with Dave Filoni is like, oh, this guy redeemed the prequels through the Clone Wars series and through the Rebels series. Like, he took a lot of that stuff and made it cool and added these different dimensions to it that explained it in ways. And I think that's actually true. I still don't enjoy the prequel movies.
Right.
But I enjoy the shows that he made, and it's using a lot of the stuff from the prequels. It's just using it in a better way.
Gotcha.
And he added some cool stuff. Ahsoka Tano is a new character that he made up and keeps bringing back. But I think that's part of the problem. Like, he loves that stuff. He loves his own stuff at this point. He's really catering to a very specific sect of the Star Wars fandom that I think is down for, like, not great acting, not great directing, slow dialogue, Hayden Christensen in the prequels style stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's what this show feels like.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's not great.
Like, everyone's super stoic. Cool. Yeah, I would like different personality traits, though, to balance that out. That would be nice, especially when, like I said, doesn't match the cartoon characters. Like, it's just, they don't feel like the same characters anymore to me. I think it's fun for those people that like that stuff, but not everyone wants witches in Star Wars, you know.
I didn't know there's witches.
There's witches now. They've been around for a while. I was
Dang.
able to, like, ignore it in the cartoons because it's like, whatever. This will be over in 20 minutes, but this was.
We'll just forget this little 20-minute episode ever happened.
Right. Yeah, I can skip this one. All right. So, as promised, on the heels of Ahsoka, we got Mandalorian season 3. It was, I don't know. It was bad. It was bad. Part of what bothers me so much about this is, like, the volume stuff is really kind of eating at me at this point.
Volume isn't just how much they're making?
The volume, like the
sound?
No, the set that they use that has, like, the screen projection and stuff, and they've been using that since Mando season 1. They've used it on a lot of the Marvel stuff. I don't think it works as well as they think it does. I mean, you can tell that they're in a small space most of the time in these shows.
Yeah.
It just feels like they're in a small setting. And going from the Star Wars movies to feeling like you're in a small space, again, it's like that prequels problem where you watch those and you're like, what is going on here? Why does this feel weird?
Right.
Because it's all green screen.
Right. There's nothing real on the screen right now. It's all
exactly. There's
video
no weight
game.
to anything. It's a video game. Yeah, it's a real good looking video game. Also, you cannot convince me that the Mandalorians are not just total dumbos at this point. Like, there's this scene in this year, I think it was this season, where they're all like, there's like 100 of them. It's like the whole colony just out on the beach practicing their Mando stuff. Everyone's got their armor on. Everyone's just doing karate moves, like, with their partner.
Yeah.
And then some big alien bird comes and eats like half of them, and they can't defend against it because these super badass people, the Mandalorians, like, just are always getting their ass kicked in their own show. I don't know. It just feels so goofy to me at this point. There wasn't much going on for Mando this season. They did some stuff plot wise and then just kind of like did a loop-de-loo and undid it. So
That's the worst. I hate that.
yeah. Yep.
All right. So that caps off the bad tier. We're already into the mid. So yeah, your bad tiers are pretty small, but like we said, it's easier to bail on the bad stuff earlier.
Especially when I'm the one making a list.
Right,
Like when we do the TV when we do movies, by the end of the year, I'm looking at like stuff you've already rated as bad, and I'm like, yeah,
right.
we got to talk about it.
That's true. I still got to circle back to the Pope's Exorcist. That's sitting there waiting for me.
It's like that was your one assignment this year, right?
I gave you like 60 movies to watch, and I've got one just sitting there like, I probably should watch that.
I think I told you not to, so you're good. You're good.
All right. So what, 31? We've got I'm a Virgo.
I'm a Virgo.
That's the worst mid.
Yeah.
We talked about that a little bit.
I think we've mostly said how we felt about it. If you really want to hear that, you can look up when the show was released and like find our show that was released around that time.
That was over the summer. Yeah, we got I'm a Virgo at 31, Yellow Jackets season 2 at 30.
We also kind of talked about that one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Follow the House of Ushers, 29. 28, we got Ted Lasso season 3. This is me only,
this is
right?
you, yeah.
Did you watch Ted Lasso season 3, Ben? I know you were watching Ted Lasso.
I watched like the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Same.
it feels real abrupt that they ended it after 3 seasons. And like that's just, I couldn't shake that feeling watching the 3rd season. Like there were a couple good episodes, but like for the most part it felt like they were just really wrapping this up and like doing callbacks where it's like, you haven't earned those jokes yet. Like,
3
you're only on for like
seasons
20
in, you're, like,
episodes.
Doing a victory lap. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So it wasn't bad, but yeah, pretty mid.
Cool.
I asked you about Barry season 4 and you didn't sound interested in checking it out. So what caused you to circle back?
I must have had a lot of free time. I think it was while my professors were striking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about that on the show yet. We talked about the actors and writers strike, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
During
Strike
Max's
3.
school year, all of his teachers went on strike. So
Yeah.
had a lot of free time.
Right, yeah. Had some free time to watch Barry season 4. I think I just like heard, oh, it's real dark, and like
Yeah.
the whole big time jump thing that they do just to make the point of like people don't change.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like
Yeah.
major bummer of a message. Season 3 was great. I think they could have just figured out how to wrap it there.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
I was really hoping they were going to have another like massively chaotic action sequence at some point this season, especially with the way they're building up to the finale. But I guess like, I don't know, the way this show goes, I shouldn't have expected they're going to go the traditional route, but
I thought the NoHo Hank showdown stuff was kind of cool.
yeah.
I didn't need it to be quite so on the nose with like him dying on the statue of his lover. I think appreciate the abruptness of that action scene because it's over in like 10 seconds, but it's a good scene, you know? And just them kind of sitting on the aftermath of like these guys writhing on the floor as they're like slowly dying from bullet wounds.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I hadn't seen anything like that. So
No.
it's kind of cool.
It's definitely different. And this show always goes to show you something you usually haven't seen before, which I think it's really good at that.
And like, you can just tell that Bill Hader is such a like film nerd.
Yeah.
You know, just by like how much he did kind of explore using different techniques for filming in the show. Like it's anyone that just likes cinematography, like it's a great show to watch.
For sure. That episode in the 2nd season where he's chasing down the karate girl, that is one of the best episodes of TV. And then it just hits you with directed by Bill Hader at the end. Like that's such a good episode.
Yeah. All right, here we are.
26, you got Swarm.
There's Swarm.
Which like flew so under the radar for a Donald Glover TV show. I don't feel like anyone talked about this.
The people that I listened to were talking about it for when it came out and dropped it like it was not interesting anymore.
Yeah.
I was going to say dropped it like it's hot, but that's like a good thing, right?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah. So
No, they dropped this like it's not.
right, exactly. Yeah. This is Donald Glover's show basically about unhinged Beyonce fans, in case you didn't know.
Right.
But it's using like a different artist or like a made up artist as
Very obviously that
as an
though.
avatar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny. It's kind of weird, dude. Like, I don't know. I thought it was pretty fascinating, but I also thought it was like a very messy show. Like, I enjoy Atlanta more than this stuff. This felt like kind of reject season 3 Atlanta episodes.
Right. Just
like,
stretched into a whole series.
just characters that were on a page that he wanted to write, and then just like you throw in Dre killing them at the end.
Yeah.
Even if they're not really a bad person. Like, that was the other thing that I thought was kind of frustrating is like there's no real morality to the main character, the killer.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I'm not saying she needs to be Dexter, but like it's just it was like harder to have fun with when it's like sometimes you're like bothered by the ruthlessness of the character, you know. I did watch the whole thing.
So enjoyment factors in. How much does like rewatchability factor into how much you enjoy something? Because I was thinking about this recently, and like Ben and I like nerded out over Breaking Bad forever,
Forever.
and I've never had an inclination to rewatch that show at all.
Yep.
Yeah, but you never rewatch anything.
I'm rewatching The Sopranos right now, and
Really?
I'm like, does this mean I like The Sopranos more than Breaking Bad? Because I'm enjoying this substantially right
How
now.
long had it been since you watched that?
Sopranos?
Yeah.
I think I watched that like 2018. So
Oh, not
more
even that
recently
long
than I
ago.
watched
Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
Well, I think Breaking
That's
Bad's better
interesting.
than The Office, but I've rewatched The Office like 20 times.
Right. And there's something to
Yeah.
say about like comedies are more
Yeah.
rewatchable than dramas,
Right.
but I don't know.
Especially with Breaking Bad, dude. Like, you
Yeah.
never knew where shit was going to go.
Right.
But once you know everything, it's some of its charms definitely worn off.
Yeah. But
You know?
again, I've rewatched Twin Peaks probably 2 or 3 times, at least the first 2 seasons. I enjoy that.
Yeah, but you watch Twin Peaks for like the vibes. I
Yes,
guess,
dude.
you
The
know?
trippiness, the
a little
fucking
more
Black
quirky,
Lodge.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does rewatchability play into your TV enjoyment at all?
Not with TV. I would
Yeah.
say more so with movies and video games.
Yeah.
I want
Gotcha.
replayability. And in music. Like, my favorite music is stuff where I'm like, I listen to an album and I'm like, well, I only got like 3% of that, you know, like that
Right.
that Shinabubla album that
Oh,
I show
right.
you guys. Like,
Yeah.
that shit's wild, you know? Like,
Yeah.
you can't keep up with that.
Yeah.
You have to listen to it a lot. But with TV, yeah, no, I don't really think about it.
Yeah. Well, and TV is it's so much to take in. Like rewatching a whole drama series or whatever, it has to
Right.
be really, really something you want to unpack again. It's a commitment.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
All right. You got Never Have I Ever, season 4 at 25.
Yeah, Ben, you saw that one, right?
Yeah, I was just bummed it ended.
Final season,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mindy Kaling show.
I feel that I don't know if I was stoked on who she ended up with.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was the better choice, right?
probably
Like,
I don't know.
More
You guys are talking about this like it's The Bachelor. This is a sitcom, right?
I guess it is.
it's been a love triangle for 4 seasons, so
Really?
yeah, that was a big thing that we were all invested in.
I just thought she was hilarious.
She carried the whole show.
She did carry the
Yeah.
whole show. Like her little one-liners, like her character was so witty and she played it very well.
Ben is really good too. The guy that
Yeah.
that guy is pretty darn funny. One thing that bummed me out though, honestly, is I feel like they didn't know what to do with the side characters anymore. Like Fabiola and her other friend just
They were
seemed
just
to kind of
always mad at her. She always did something to piss everyone
right.
off.
They were just kind of used as like plot devices.
Yeah.
And like her hot cousin that lives with them, I could have used some more
Yep.
of her in the show.
Oh, I bet you could have.
What's that mean?
But anyway. But some of the actors are just super charismatic, so
Yeah.
like that makes the show fun. And
did
and the
carry it, though.
narration thing, like
Yeah.
I'm glad that wasn't just like a season 1 gimmick. Like
Yep.
John McEnroe did a great job in this show. He's
The
like
narrating was cool.
yeah, definitely underrated.
24. We got I Think You Should Leave, season 3.
Yeah.
It's down there pretty mid.
Yeah.
We talked about
talked
it.
about it a lot.
You guys know that I like
Yeah.
I don't know if I was just in a bad mood when I watched this season, but like I've gone back and
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's just Egg Game and the zip
Yeah.
line. Those are the only 2 that I care
There's not
about.
a lot of good stuff. Like I tried to rewatch it too, and it's like
I like it more and more,
there's a
dude.
couple, but yeah, it's a lot more misses than hits for me for sure.
Yeah.
You're up, Ryan.
23, that's me. Marvelous Miss Maisel, season 5. This is another show that was in its final year. It started off really strong, like the first 2 seasons are great. The last 2 have not been. And so this one I found to be like a pretty good ending to the show. Like it wrapped up everything really cool. It did also like a flash forward thing where she's doing like a 60 minutes interview looking back at her career to fill in a lot of the gaps of like
Oh.
what she does after she breaks.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really cool device, even though some of the places that like the side characters ended up were kind of boring, like her ex-husband and her parents, which was kind of a letdown. But overall, it was decent. Like it was a good ending, but I don't think it's worth like you only saw the first 2 seasons, right? Or the first season?
First 2 or 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's worth like catching up to watch.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, this one, my wife's a huge fan of the Gilmore Girls, and it was created by the same, what's her?
Really?
Palomino, yeah.
Interesting.
Or Palladino, I can't remember. But it was one of those shows where it started out like my wife wanted to watch it, so it was something we could watch together. And by
Yeah.
the end of like season 4, I was the one like, are we going to watch this? She's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of
Yeah.
over it.
Oh, I hate that.
22, you got Silo. That was another one I was
Silo.
gonna watch, and I never did.
You never ended up
No.
watching it? Oh, I thought you did for some reason.
No, I think it was just because it was Rashida Jones. I was like, I need to watch that. I like her.
Oh, Rashida Jones is great.
But it's not a comedy.
It's not a comedy. It's
No.
like pretty grim, like mood-wise and everything. And like the setting is everyone is in this silo that's like in the earth, you know?
Yeah.
They can't go outside because it's like poison outside.
Right.
And society has completely reformed around that.
Yeah.
Their new setting and everything. The world building is so interesting. Like,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed all of that. And it's like, it's more of a mystery thing, you know? It starts asking questions and I don't know, maybe like has some stuff in common with like Lost or like Westworld as far as like, oh, this is our reality, but is it more complex than it seems? Or is it
Right.
maybe not what it seems? Rebecca Ferguson is actually like more of the main character of this show.
Yeah.
And I love her
Yeah.
a lot. So that was cool. I don't think this is like her best work. I don't know, some of the character choices she made are kind of strange, but maybe that was just because, like I said, the tone of the show is pretty like oppressive in a way. There's some other great actors in this, like
Tim Robbins. I haven't seen
Tim
him in anything for a
Robbins,
while,
man.
man.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Tim Robbins was pretty great. Common doing his best.
Yeah, doing his best.
Still not quite there, but I think someday. And the mom from Succession, the real shitty English mom that they have, that's always
fuck.
just like not
Yeah.
feeding them and stuff.
The worst. Yeah.
She's awesome in this show. Completely different character.
Really?
She's doing this like quirky accent. That's one thing about the silo is everyone has like different accents, and I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, you all grew up in this silo. How did that happen? Whatever, it's cool.
It seems cool. It seems like a just real dark Severance. I don't know why it gave me that vibes. Maybe it's just the Apple TV thing.
And also the mystery, I think. Yeah, because it is that puzzle box kind of thing. My complaint is that I want more out of the characters.
Yeah.
It feels like kind of same as Westworld, like very focused on the mystery, but like maybe leaving the characters a little too thin for the viewer to be like fully invested in the mystery, right?
Gotcha.
It's like, yeah, I like a good mystery, but like I want to care more about the person that is affected by that.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
hoping for more from next season, but I think it's a good one to check out. Like it was pretty satisfying as like a whole already. So
21, the last of the mid. We've got A Murder at the End of the World, which I
Yeah.
don't know if I've even heard of that one.
did you guys watch the OA?
No,
Nope.
that's
Okay.
another Netflix show,
It's
right?
a Netflix show. This is the same creators that did the OA,
Okay.
which I never watched, but this is a murder mystery. The main reason I stuck with it is this actor, Emma Corrin. I found them really compelling. I was very absorbed by their performance, and luckily so, because the show like presents itself as an ensemble thing with like Clive Owen and
Oh yeah.
what's his name, Harris Dixon from Triangle of Sadness, who plays like the
Oh yeah.
the dude in that.
Yeah.
Some great actors, but like they all kind of, I don't know when this happened in the process, but like it's so many flashbacks of like Emma Corrin and her relationship with the Harris Dixon character, who I loved in Triangle of Sadness, but I don't love him in this. He's
Yeah.
like not far off from a Manic Pixie Dream Boy. Like he just feels
Yeah.
like a lame 23-year-old girl's idea of what a cool guy is. He's
Yeah.
got all these dumb little tattoos. He compares cell phones to cigarettes at one point. Oh my god. He's like a Banksy. He sucks. It's so yeah, the mystery was interesting, but I didn't feel like that's what I was watching most of the time. Like when they wrapped it all up in the finale, I was like, oh cool, I just wish you hadn't made me watch like so many of these cringy, like cuddly flashbacks with these two characters.
And this is only one season, so they're not coming back.
Oh no?
At least according to IMDb.
Oh, interesting.
So
Well, that's too bad, because I
yeah.
was kind of hoping if they could like figure out a better formula for season 2, but oh well.
yeah. Who knows? They might pick it back up.
They totally could, yeah.
All right, so we're into the good tier.
Oh, nice.
Oh, we got an animated show that made the good.
Yeah.
There we go. Harley Quinn. That's already on season 4. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys even know this was a thing? Like,
I think I just learned about it like last year because I heard there's a Harley Quinn show. I was like, oh shit, I gotta see it. And I was like, oh, it's a cartoon. I don't know.
yeah, you didn't. Dude, it's good though.
Yeah.
It's really funny. It's so much more like crude than you would expect from a DC thing.
I've heard it's very adult.
It's funny. It kind of does like the Guardians of the Galaxy thing where it's just this like misfit crew.
Yeah.
It's Harley and Clayface, King Shark, Dr. Psycho, and Kite Man.
Nice.
Just like the funniest crew of people. Oh, and Poison Ivy. I think it's slipped a little bit the past 2 seasons. They're like Harley and Ivy get together after like season 2, and it becomes like more focused on those 2 characters, and it becomes less of the team to the point where like Kite Man I don't think is even really in the show anymore.
Gotcha.
But it's almost like taking Kramer out of Seinfeld
Yeah.
to me. Like Kite Man was like a super funny, crucial part of the show.
Yeah.
And it's still good. It's just kind of transformed into a different thing. And dude, I'm like, does Zaslav know this one's going on? Like, I don't know how they're getting away with like doing 4 seasons of a Harley Quinn animated show, but I love it.
That's great. Yeah. Something good DC's putting out. That's
Yeah.
a relief.
More-
I just looked up the IMDb and saw that Diedrich Bader is Batman. That's great.
Yeah, man. From the Drew Carey show.
Yeah.
He's
That's
good.
phenomenal.
He's a good Batman. I like him a lot. And like Kaylee Cuoco,
Is Harley
Who-
Quinn. Yeah.
she's so good.
Really?
She
That's
is
interesting.
really funny. Like she can just screech, and it's really funny. Oh, and Lake Bell plays Ivy, who's like,
Okay. Yeah.
you know, Lake Bell, I think well known as a voice actor. She was in that In a World movie that was
Yeah.
all about voice acting.
Gotcha.
I love Lake Bell, but people should check out that show.
Okay.
Another superhero thing, Gen V, which is a spin-off of The Boys. Ben,
Yeah.
you said you were going to watch this. Did
Yeah,
you get around to it?
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
No.
All right. Ryan?
I still haven't watched
You
The
haven't
Boys.
watched The Boys,
I'm
yeah.
way behind. How does this connect to The Boys?
In a good way. In like a not too much way, but also the connections are there, and it's just more fun. You guys remember, what's the character's name? Ashley? She's like the Vought PR person or something, but
Yeah.
one of those characters, like she pops up a few times. I think the Deep pops up for a second. Homelander's in it a tiny bit. Like it connects, but it's not, it always makes sense when it connects. It's not egregious. The show also feels like it's a similar tone to The Boys, but it's not, there's more of a range. It's not the Marvel thing where it's like, oh, don't step out of your square. It's
Right.
like, it starts off on kind of a different tone, but you could still see the characters like meshing with The Boys characters, which
Yeah.
is cool.
It's got a little
But-
bit more of its own identity.
It does, because it's like trying to do this teen college drama thing.
Okay.
And the superpowers are often used as like analogies to stuff people would be dealing with at that age. Like
Gotcha.
there's this girl that can shrink like Ant-Man style, but
Yeah.
she can only do that when she throws up. So it's kind of like this like eating disorder thing. And they
Right.
like, it's not just half baked. Like they really do try to develop those ideas and like have the characters grapple with that stuff instead of just doing like a gimmicky thing. Or I even feel like in a show like The Boys, it would be more used as just like a joke.
Yeah.
And I think this show has like maybe a little more heart in that way, and it's still funny, but it's not as like quite as dark and grotesque as The Boys, at least not all the time. So I
Gotcha.
liked it. It was cool.
All right. So we got that at 19. 18 is Perry Mason, season 2.
Do you guys even like know what this is?
No, I'm just like,
Am I just like a total nerd for putting Perry Mason
Perry
on here?
Mason.
It's a 1930s detective show / courtroom drama.
okay. And it's been like remade.
Yeah, this is kind of a remake
Okay.
of like
Kind of a remake.
Yeah, ask your dad. He probably knows who Perry Mason is. I swear to God.
I got the new Perry Mason in IMDb, 1973.
That was the new.
That was the new Perry Mason.
All right, so ask your grandpa. Maybe
It's
he'll
been
know
around.
who Perry Mason is. I don't know, dude. This show's super underrated.
What is it on? Is it like a Netflix?
HBO.
HBO, okay.
Yeah, and it looks like it has HBO money.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not usually here for like period pieces, but I'm like, dude, this show looks so good. It looks like the 1930s. Damn.
Okay, yeah.
Look at all those cars and square ties and suits. I don't think this show is going to be on much longer just because I feel like
It's on HBO.
it's on HBO. They gave it a bunch of money. It's
Yeah.
probably not as many viewers as what they want. Otherwise, like, you guys would at least know what it was,
Yeah.
you know? Part of what's interesting about this show is that, like, you would expect, like, oh, 1930s HBO show. I'll bet this is, like, full of, like, racist stuff and, like, just, like, kind of
Speakeasies and
taking all of,
prostitutes.
like, the stuff of the time period and being like, let's amp it up, you know? It doesn't really do that. At least the main characters are kind of, like, maybe a bit more progressive than the typical 1930s person.
Yeah.
It's like a little more relatable for us watching it, I think, because it's a little more like they're a little more in line with like the social mores of a modern day.
Gotcha.
Or at least like relatable. But it doesn't feel cheesy because like the rest of the world is still like, nah, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck those weird people that aren't like us, you know? And it creates this kind of like underdog dynamic where like you're rooting for Perry Mason because, yeah, he's like defending people that no one else would take the case for. And he's getting punched in the face by the other lawyer. And yeah, it's cool. It's not going to be around much longer. So
Check it out while you can.
check it out while you can because they probably won't put it on. They'll put it on Tubi or something.
They'll dump it. Yeah, they're not even going to get residuals off that one.
No, dude. Not with 2 seasons.
17, we got What We Do in the Shadows, season 5.
You guys ever watch the
No,
show?
I finally just watched the movie. But
yeah?
I have
Did you
not-
like it?
Yeah, the movie's great. I like
Okay.
Taika.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that? Hunt for the Wilder People is probably my favorite one of his. But
Same.
What We Do in the Shadows is great. I need to see this show. I heard next season's going to be the last.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Oh, man. That's too bad. You know, one thing that I think is cool about it is it doesn't seem like a show that it would have worked for this long.
yeah.
It feels too gimmicky.
Right.
Or like too, I don't know, vampires living in New York in modern day. Yeah, like that doesn't sound like something you can make this many seasons of. But I'm always surprised by how much I enjoy it. Like I usually binge these. And I don't binge a lot of stuff, but like they're just funny. And part of it is the cast is so good. Like they're all just really funny people that can do like great voices and great physical comedy but they don't just like put everything on the actors. The writing really backs it up. They come up with new stuff every season. Like one of the characters this season, at the end of last season, he like died, but then gave birth to himself. And so he was like a baby for part of the season and then like was growing rapidly and like turned into a toddler. And by the end of the season, he's like full grown again. Super weird, but like just watch it. It works.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's good. So, yeah,
I think
man.
I felt kind of the same way you described it, where like when I heard it was getting turned into a TV show, I was just like, okay, Taika's the big new thing in Hollywood.
Yep.
They're just going to milk him for every idea he has until they run out. But
Yep.
I've heard from a lot of people that the show is better than the movie.
I know a lot of people are over Taika at this point. I know that his stock has dropped quite a bit in recent years, especially after the second Thor.
Yeah.
Don't let that stop you from checking this out. I don't even think he's that involved in this show.
It looks like Jermaine Clement does most of the writing on it from Flight of the Conchords.
And
so.
he's the best.
Yeah.
I love Jermaine Clement. So, yeah.
So that's a 17. 16, we got Righteous Gemstones, season 3.
Here we go.
We talked a little bit about that one.
We're stumbling into a whole
block of stuff we've covered.
bunch of and a whole bunch of comedies too.
Yeah.
I just like didn't know exactly where to rate all these comedies, but
Yeah.
Righteous Gemstones season 3.
Yep.
That was good. My parents really liked this show, and I was visiting them, and they were like trying to find something to watch. It's like, well, if you guys like that, check out Vice Principals. That's another. It's like the same thing,
Right.
And we started watching it, and like it felt way meaner.
Yeah.
It didn't feel as fun. It didn't have that fun kind of. Last time we talked about this, I still don't know how to articulate this, but like the way they shoot stuff in Righteous Gemstones and the way they score stuff, it feels surreal at times, like just slightly. But that and like kind of some of the kinder tone that this has, I think maybe makes it like the best and probably most rewatchable show that what's his name?
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride is made.
No, I missed Vice Principals, but I was a huge fan of Eastbound and Down when that came out, and I tried to rewatch the first season of that, and that's so cringy now.
Yeah, there's a reason that I was like, let's try Vice Principals, because I knew that was not going to work. That came out in like 2009 or something.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
sure
a
it's
lot of
just
stuff
like,
where I'm like, oh, this did not age very well.
On Eastbound and Down?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I could see it.
15, we got Only Murders in the Building season 3.
Yeah.
Did you like season 2 of that show? Because I felt like that was a dip and this was kind of a rebound.
I would agree with that. But I was thinking about this show, and there's something that's always bothered me about it, and I think I figured out what it is. I don't like the murder mystery stuff. I wish it would just be a comedy.
Yeah.
I don't need the plot. I don't think they do a good job with it.
Yeah.
And I think they do some pretty egregious stuff as far as like cliffhanger.
Yeah.
End of episode 3. Oh no, we found the killer. No, you didn't. You're 3 episodes in.
Right.
I know that you didn't. Don't treat me like a dumbass.
Right. For sure.
So, like, other than that, yeah, man, Steve Martin, grew up watching him. Like, my parents love Steve Martin and Martin Short, so it's fun to see them again. Selena Gomez, surprisingly great. Like, I'd never seen her in anything before. She was just like a Disney actor before, right?
She's in Spring Breakers. That was great.
Really?
Oh, yeah, she was, dude.
Spring Breakers was tight.
Yeah.
Not for long, though.
No, she was the first one to bail.
Yeah. She was like Taylor Swift in that one movie.
No, she didn't get run over in the first 5 minutes, but she was like, she saw James Franco and was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Smartest character in the movie.
Right, she had the best rationale.
My dark tannin oil. Dude, I fucking love that movie.
That movie's great.
Oh, it's so gross.
All right. 14, The After Party. That is, what's his name? Dude from I Think You Should Leave show, right?
Sam Richardson.
Sam Richardson,
right?
yeah.
Is it? It's his show?
I mean, he's one of the main characters.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's arguably the main character in it.
And this was not intentionally their last season, right? But they got canceled.
Did that happen?
I think so.
Oh, that's too bad. That's a bummer. Sam Richardson, Zoe Chow, and Tiffany Haddish are like the main characters in this show and have been for like both seasons. But it does like an ensemble thing. And even though the first 2 seasons are related, it's like mostly a new cast in the second season. This show just has such a good idea. Like a murder happens and it's like, you know, there's like a group of 10 people and each episode is one of them getting interviewed, like 'cause they're a suspect.
Okay.
And the style of the filmmaking of like recounting their story will change depending on their personality.
Oh, that's
it's kind
cool.
of based on their personality. It's a huge part of it. It's a huge draw of it for me.
Yeah.
Because they'll do anything from like, you know, it'll start as like a romantic comedy and then the next character tells their story and it's basically like an action movie.
Yeah.
This season had like a Wes Anderson style episode that I enjoyed more than anything Wes Anderson has made in 20 years.
Right,
So that was
yeah.
pretty cool. I think it's Lord and Miller, or it's like one of them. I think it might be Chris Miller who does this. They did like 21 Jump Street, the Lego movie, like
Spider-Man, right?
Spider-Man,
Spider-Verse.
a little bit of Solo. So it doesn't always work, but like, yeah, when those guys are on fire, like they really make something good.
Yeah, I'm surprised this got ditched after 2 seasons.
Kind of weird.
That's
I'm
a
kind
bummer.
of surprised to hear that.
All right, so that's at 14. 13 is Party Down season 3.
All right.
I've still not seen this show. This is what's his name? Dude from Parks and Rec and
Adam
Severance.
Scott.
Adam Scott show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is like a legacy sequel, basically, right? They're picking up
Basically.
after 10 years or so.
Yeah. So this is like a revived Stars
A revival,
comedy about caterers that are like wannabe actors. It's people working in the catering service out in Los Angeles, or I would assume.
Yeah.
And they're all like, yeah, trying to become actors. I loved season 1 and 2. Like, we kind of just discovered that, like everyone, when it came on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I don't think this was like big when it was on Stars. You know?
It was very short-lived.
Right. The setup to it feels good and like not too forced.
Yeah.
Which is something I was like, okay, these people are way older now. How are they going to make them all get back together in the catering service? But it worked well.
Nice.
I was like concerned in the first few episodes because I thought they were just going to go for some like easy target stuff. Like, one of the actors basically gets canceled in one of the first few episodes. And I was like,
yeah,
I'm kind of over this even as a joke already. But it hit its stride like almost immediately after that. Like, it really turned around quickly. It kind of gets more introspective in a cool way, just because, like I said, the characters are older now. They're like 40 somethings working in a catering service and like potentially still wanting to like act or something. So that's cool. The show also like lucked out by having Adam Scott before he was really Adam Scott.
Yeah.
And now like getting him to come back, because like dude's kind of a name now.
Well, that was like the rumor around the original show, right? Like they kind of got Adam Scott poached out from under him to go to Parks and Rec, and that's why
I could see it happening. I mean, well, it's interesting because like on a meta level, the first 2 seasons, like everyone's telling his character like, oh, you're actually a really good actor, like you used to be, you were in this movie, and like, wow, you could really be something. And it kind of like builds almost, and I wonder how much of it was like, they were writing to what was actually going on in reality. So
it's good to see Martin Starr there too.
Martin Starr, Ken Marino, who's like one of my favorite comedic actors. Looking forward to season 4.
Oh, they're doing another season too.
I think so.
Awesome. That's tight.
Yep. And I think Lizzie Kaplan is coming back for that one, who was like a big part of the first 2 seasons. So I'm stoked.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. 12, we got Jury Duty, which Ben just saw, right? Loved it.
I did. Really good. Nice. The nicest fucking dude.
Yeah. Right.
11 is the other 2, season 3.
Yeah. Have you guys even heard of this?
No, I didn't know there was 2 seasons before this. What is the show?
This show is a comedy about 2 siblings of basically a Justin Bieber type person and their own journeys to become famous, because they're super hungry for fame. I just like the tone of this. It feels like kind of a throwback to just like goofy SNL stuff. It's a lot of SNL people. I think like Lorne Michaels produces it, and like it has some classic comedy stuff, like just basic like rule of 3 callbacks throughout a 20-minute episode that it's like, oh, I remember, man, this used to be just the thing. This is like what you did. And since that's not a formula that's used as much anymore, I kind of was nostalgic for it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So I just Googled the other 2, and that one, this is the final season of that also. Yeah. Did you know that? Okay.
But I mean, it's pretty well like telegraphed. Okay. So I kind of knew that.
And this is another Max show.
This is another Max show, a lot like Party Down. It's older people hungry for fame and in just kind of a gross way.
Yeah.
Ken Marino is also in this one.
Yeah.
Molly Shannon is in this one. And I think like if you watch this, you might understand a little more my Molly Shannon love.
Yeah.
Because she just brings it.
Yeah.
So
that's 11. We're into the top 10. The Last of Us, season 1, number 10.
Yeah. Did we all watch that?
We did.
Yeah. It was good.
I'm surprised you got it this low. I would put it in the best tier.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it just kind of fade on you, or?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably
we got
recency
one more.
bias. It's probably recency bias.
Yeah.
Don't we?
Yeah, there's one more in the good tier. The Last of Us is down at 10. Poker Face is number 9.
Poker Face.
I forgot this show already. Yeah. You know Poker Face, but you don't know TikTok? I still don't believe you on that.
This is
a biopic of Lady Gaga?
This is Lady Gaga as a detective.
Dude. It's a murder mystery where the detective can tell when people lie.
Murder mysteries are so hot right now.
They are, dude. And this is Ryan Johnson.
Right.
So he can't get enough of it. He's I can't make these knives out fast enough. I need a show. But also, Natasha Lyonne. Did you guys watch Russian Doll?
No.
Okay.
I know she's,
Dude, she's she just like steals the scene. I don't know. And they have some great people in this. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in an episode. Lil Rel is in an episode. Some people I really liked. But she's just kind of road tripping around, like solving mysteries.
Okay. So it's not one big mystery. She's like
not really
episodic.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like it. Yeah. I like that more and more nowadays.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good. Each week, this was week to week.
Yeah.
And it was one of the hardest ones to wait for me, even though it's self-contained.
Yeah.
I was just ready for a new murder mystery. So it's funny, obviously. Like,
there's a lot of funny people in it. In the cast.
Right.
Tim
and
Blake
I feel like
Nelson.
even just, I think Ryan Johnson has kind of become like a comedy director in a way.
Yeah.
That's always kind of a part of what he's doing now.
All right. So yeah, that's the highest good, not quite the best.
Okay. Now
Here we're in the top
best.
tier.
Yeah.
What the hell is Slow Horses?
Dude, it's another Apple show. No one knows about any of their stuff.
I heard John Oliver describe Apple as the place celebrities go to hide.
I guess, and make really great television, because I've had like 5 Apple shows on here.
Yeah.
But it's a spy thriller.
Gary Oldman?
Gary Oldman,
He's
dude.
doing TV?
Gary Oldman is doing TV, and I'm okay with it because God, he just loves to have a good time. He just loves to play pretend, dude. I wouldn't call it a comedy, but it's funny. Like it's a spy thriller, but like half the time it's just Gary Oldman being like grotesque. He's always farting and like eating in obnoxious ways when people are trying to talk to him. He's like the head of this MI5 reject establishment, and he treats all of his people, just always telling him how like shit they are at their job, and like it's great, man.
Sounds good.
The seasons are always 6 episodes long. They're like 45-minute episodes.
Okay.
And it's pretty much self-contained. So you get like this cool like intrigue in the beginning of the season, always some like action and like a great climax towards the end of the season.
Oh, and this is season 3.
Yeah.
Damn.
Dude, and I'll tell you, I watched season 1 and I was like, fine, like whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'm 3 seasons in and I'm like, I love these characters.
Yeah.
I want to spend time with everybody. Like, it's one of those shows, but unlike a lot of those shows, it's not laying on the plot armor super thick.
Yeah.
Like, people you like will die.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
Because it makes it tense, you know? 'Cause
It's
you're
not so
worrying.
safe, right?
No, exactly.
All right, that's at 8. 7, we got Beef. That was good. That's probably in my best tier. I would agree, even though I wasn't super keen on the finale. I thought it was a great show.
That's right. I forgot about that.
I've heard, so they're going to come back with a second season, but it's going to be a different story. Have you heard anything about that?
Oh, that's cool. I
Yeah,
kind of like
so
that.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
It's got the same creative team behind it. That was good.
Fuck yeah.
6, you've got Mrs. Davis. That's way up there.
I thought you hated it.
This is Max's list, all right?
I made a list this time.
Yeah. Instead of me piloting everything, this is Max.
And I didn't try to consider Ryan's feelings when I put Mrs. Davis in.
As you should.
I was just like, you know what? This is my list.
You make me watch The Idol. I'm going to shove Mrs. Davis down your fucking throat.
Oh, man. I love this one. It's just so weird, dude. And I don't know if we'll get another season of this. Like,
Yeah.
I heard someone talking about it, and they were saying that, like, the co-creator along with Damon Lindelof looked like they were getting sick of him in interviews.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. Oh, Damon.
Yeah, that could be a contentious thing.
Yeah.
Isn't that the reason why Severance season 2 is taking so long? Their co-creators are kind of getting at each other.
No, I didn't hear that.
I heard there's a little...
Ben Stiller?
No, there's 2 other guys. I think Stiller's just like technically a producer on it or something.
I thought he was directing.
Yeah, and he's directing episodes, but he's not
But
like...
the writers are
yeah.
are having conflict.
Yeah, I thought there was 2 creators. I just looked up the IMDb, and now there's only 1 listed. So I don't know if I'm wrong or that's just a sign that one of them got exiled.
no. We're going to do some digging on this.
Yeah.
Tune into season 4 to find out.
Okay, so Mrs. Davis, we got at 6. 5, you've got Fargo season 5,
Yeah, can you
which
guys
is
believe
another
it?
self-contained season by season.
But neither of you guys ever checked out Fargo?
No, that's another one
Not
people
even,
have been
like,
telling me to
the movie.
watch. I love the movie,
Sure.
and that was the reason I was reluctant to check out the show.
Really?
But I've heard the first season is like one of the best television products
Yeah,
ever made, so I
I've
need
heard
to
it's
go
super
back.
good. What's it on again?
FX.
FX. So,
But
so
what platform is that?
Hulu.
Hulu.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Which is also like blows my mind that they're the only terrestrial TV station that can make good stuff. Like, do we have anything else that wasn't made for a streaming service on this list? It's either FX or it's made straight for streaming.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I just don't understand how they're so bad. Yeah.
Like FX has had a lot of good shows over the years.
For a long time. Yeah.
Right.
Is there any through line for Fargo's seasons? Does it just take place in Fargo every year?
There's a little bit.
Yeah.
It takes place in Fargo for the most part.
Okay.
There is sometimes a character will like pop back up in a later season. I don't think they're doing that as much as they did earlier.
Okay.
Like the first 3 have a bit more connective tissue than what they do nowadays.
Gotcha.
But it's been really every other season for me. Like season 1, I was like, great. Season 2 was just okay. Season 3 was good. Season 4 was not even good. I don't really think.
Season 4?
Yeah.
That was the Chris Rock season. Chris Rock keeps trying to be an actor, and it's not working.
Damn.
Which is bad because he's a hilarious dude, but acting's a whole different thing.
I think her name's Jessie Buckley. She was a really good part of that season, but
yeah. Oh, yeah, she's great. I like her a lot.
She's cool, but
this season was John Hamm and Juno Temple.
Juno Temple plays the lead.
Yeah.
She's so
so
good.
she's the lead. I thought John
She's the
Hamm was
lead.
the main dude.
Luckily, no.
Okay.
He is not. Not a huge John Hamm's fine, but like I don't need to watch a John Hamm centric show. Dave Foley is in this. You guys like Dave Foley?
Yeah, he's great.
Fuck yeah, dude. Playing Mark Hamill from House of Usher, but like better.
But better.
Yeah,
does he have a normal, not cartoon voice?
He does.
Okay, cool, cool.
Jennifer Jason Leigh is in this.
Oh, she's great. Nice.
She's fucking killing it, dude. Oh, and fucking Joe Keery from Stranger Things. Steve. Yeah.
Wait a second.
What?
So I know you say you're in the moment with this thing. There's still 2 more episodes for this, and it's number 5? That's
in the moment. In the moment.
It's already that good.
It's already, I would say it's my second favorite Fargo season.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. I'm feeling good about it.
You're into it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think the last episode that they put out was probably the only like weird one that we'll have to deal with. You guys aren't familiar with Noah Hawley, who does this show, but like he can't help himself. Every time, I think except for like season 1 of Fargo, he's always got to get a little weird.
A little too weird.
A little too weird. Yeah. So in this season, there was an episode where there's this big puppet show that lasted like almost the whole episode.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was still all right.
Okay.
I'm still in it. I'm still deep in it. I mean, fingers crossed, It could not have a great ending, but I think they've set themselves up for... I can't really see how it could go too wrong at this point.
Yeah.
So...
Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, speaking of, you got the curse at number 4.
And it hasn't finished yet either.
I'm holding off till it ends because I can't go on another Nathan Fielder roller coaster until I have the whole meal ready to go.
I understand that. So for people that don't know, this is Nathan Fielder's first scripted show. Also, Ben Safdie is working on it with them. I think they're both creating it together. It's about a millennial couple who's trying to start a reality show about sustainable housing. And it's really about people that think they're progressive, but like really only want the adoration of like people that are like, wow, you're such a good person, and they'll really do anything for that adoration, but they just suck.
Just like a virtue signaling reality show.
Kinda, yeah. And I just love it. Like that right there is, I think I'm going to get sick of it because it's become such a thing.
Yeah.
Like we talked about this with like I think it was last year actually, like The Menu and Triangle of Sadness. It's like, lampooning rich white people. Well, that's not that hard to do,
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking easy target, And so this show is like making fun of, like I said, people that want to appear good, but like Emma Stone is one of the actors, and her parents like are like these famous slumlords. She takes a bunch of money from them without really like telling people she's doing that, and she's just using their money to like do her sustainable thing. But even that is really not good because they'll like buy people's houses in poor communities and like kick them out. And dude,
It sounds really good.
It is. It started off as like the most cringe comedy thing ever, but with like this like horror undertone. It's an A24 thing.
Yeah.
And so the whole time I was expecting horror, and like there's this creepiness to it the whole time, and like the soundtrack is so good. It's one of my favorite soundtracks this year. But it has gone, it's not cringy anymore. And like honestly, even when it was, I was just laughing most of the time. Like I don't know if I just have a different cringe level than other people, but I was just like, man, I just think this show's hilarious. But it is transitioned like out of cringe and into just like, it's just very tense. Like the whole show for the past like 2 or 3 episodes has been really tense, and still funny, but like, God, dude, I haven't seen anything like this. And like Emma Stone was one of my favorite actors before this. It only just makes me like her more just watching how like horrible she can be.
Yeah.
I feel like she's doing most of the work at this point. Nathan Fielder, it's nice to see that like he can actually like do it, play like a more dramatic role.
Yeah.
And like, I really like him. I'm really with him. I forget that it's Nathan Fielder.
Yeah.
Which is important.
Right.
Ben Safdie, dude. He plays the reality show like a producer.
Okay.
And he's just this weird trickster. He's always trying to get them to like like get into little fights with each other and stuff.
Right.
And he'll like take one of their phones and text the other one, and like he's insane. Nice. And like a bunch of people have been like, I don't know why this character's in the show. I'm like, dude, make a spinoff that's just Dougie. Like, I love him so much. And like I haven't seen Good Time. I haven't seen Uncut Gems.
Oh God.
So I'm right.
They're so good.
I know. And so I've kind of missed the whole Ben Safdie thing.
Yeah.
And like even after Oppenheimer, people were like, dude, Ben Safdie with the sunscreen. Like, oh man, that was so funny. I'm like, I don't get why that's funny. Now I get why it's funny. Like, dude's great. He's so awesome. Still hasn't ended, so we'll see. But like again, I don't see how it could go wrong at this point.
I'm excited to watch it. I just need it. My brain just needs to see all of it because the rehearsal was so all over the place for me. I definitely like the off-kilter comedy of Nathan Fielder and Benny Safdie. So like I'm anticipating liking it, but it's been funny watch because I follow Ben Safdie on Instagram, and just watching him promote it and seeing like he's basically promoting it like it's a big Emma Stone comedy, and just watching everybody fucking hate it. And like, you can tell he just loves it. Like the other day, he just screenshotted the Rotten Tomatoes page of like 50% audience score. Like, new episode tonight.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I just checked. It was a 34, actually.
Did it go down?
Yeah.
But and like the critic score is like 90, isn't it?
It's fucking ridiculous.
Dude, they're so good, dude. They're so smart.
Uncut Gems is great.
What does he do in that?
He's a director. I don't think he acts in that one.
I was going to say.
Him and his brother direct that one. He stars in Good Times with Robert Pattinson, which he also directed with his brother.
Okay.
But yeah, he's
You
great.
watched Good Times, didn't you?
They're both really good. I like Uncut Gems a little better just because it's Adam Sandler, and there's a ton of basketball in it, so you'll like that.
In Good Times?
In Uncut Gems.
I've seen Uncut Gems.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
wild.
Fucking 10 Tricks Point Never does the soundtrack, and that is
I don't know why I've waited
Kevin
so long
Garnett
to watch
probably
it.
gets like he's probably the third leading actor in that movie.
Yeah, or The Weeknd.
Was Tesfaye in that one?
Yeah, that was like
Was he?
when The Weeknd reemerged after he'd been gone for so long, and then he shows up in Uncut Gems, and then he's making albums with 10 Tricks Point Never,
yeah.
and
That's where it
Flashing Lights. That's when it all took off. All right, so number 3, you got Scavenger's Reign.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a mini series.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I think.
Haven't finished it?
No, I finished this one. I flew through this one.
Did you?
It's 12 episodes. They're like 20, 30-minute long episodes. It's animated. So I'm like happy to have, after I dumped all my animated shows into the Rage Quit category, at least I have one at number 3. And like, yeah, dude,
another Max show.
Well, the streaming service you mean, but
yeah,
it is
Max.
a Max as in me show.
Yeah.
Like it is a total fucking Max show. It's animated sci-fi in the style of Mobius, the French comic book artist.
Okay.
And it's almost survival horror in like an Annihilation kind of way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like this alien environment that like kind of wants to kill you or
Yeah.
turn you into it's, I don't know, egg or something.
Right.
It's my favorite sci-fi story in a while.
Yeah.
Like I've been real down on sci-fi this year. When we do our movie episode, like watch out sci-fi. I'm about
Coming
to
for ya.
tear into you. And this show, it just doesn't do any of like the tropey mainstream sci-fi stuff. It tries to do new stuff at any time, you know, even when you think you know what's going to happen, when it seems like it's doing that traditional setup for like, oh, this character got infected with something and they're going to try to kill the other person that they're with. Because, you know, horror, it's always a little more complex and like more thought out than that, than just the obvious thing.
Right.
And there is some inexplicable stuff because they write in all these like crazy alien species, and some of them, I think they're trying to do kind of like this unknowable, like Lovecraftian thing where it's like you might not even be able to comprehend the intentions of this thing, you know? The originality of it gets me excited. It felt fresh. I was really invested in the characters. It kind of bounces around from like a couple different groups of survivors that were all on the same ship that crashed on this alien planet. And yeah, the planet is just, it's beautiful. And then the next minute it's trying to kill them in like 50 different ways. And like the way that these, like, I don't know if the people writing it were, you know, studied biology or something, but the level of thought that goes into like, okay, so this creature infects this plant, and then this plant hatches spores that's inhaled by the humans, and then that hatches a bug egg inside their lung. It's just like, what?
Just a
like,
level of detail.
It's really cool. It's like watching like a planet Earth of an alien planet. It's like a nature documentary of like an alien species. Nuts. But then, yeah, it has like this cool robot in it and these cool characters that are very relatable. They're all just trying to like survive. And it also kind of avoids having like a real villain, I think.
Okay.
Which I like. So, dude, it's one of the most recent shows I've watched, but yeah, I whipped through it, and ever since I've just been like feverishly asking people if they've seen Scavenger's Reign, like at every holiday party. I'm like, what are we talking about? Scavenger's Reign?
Everybody's trying to watch the football game. Yeah, like, hey.
Yeah. No, Max, it's Michigan.
Was this based on anything, do you know?
The only thing I know is that there was an 8-minute short that played on Adult Swim in like 2016 or something. And I don't know, they somehow landed a whole 12-episode series.
Yeah.
This one snuck by Zaslav again, asleep at the wheel. Chump.
Can I ask a more broad question? Like, when did anime become mainstream? Is it just like the hip-hop references?
When Gen Z happened, I think.
Jay-Z did it?
No, Gen Z.
Oh, Gen Z did
when
it.
Gen Z happened, dude, they all watch anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. They I'm trying not to blame them, dude, but like I feel like it used to be easier to be like, yo, what's a good anime? And your homies would have some good anime to tell you about. Now when I ask these kids, they just tell me so much stuff, and I'm like, I don't want the sports ones, and I don't want the cooking ones. I want the weird demon murder ones.
So when we worked at the comic book shop, it was always like, oh, only the weirdos get the anime because they've got the giant cartoon boobs and stuff. And like now it's very, very mainstream where it's like everybody's talking about anime.
Yeah.
Even like...
You guys don't like any anime?
No. I've never really got into it. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like very easy to just file away, and like because it's such a big... like overarching category of stuff, it's a little overwhelming to dive into.
It is overwhelming at this point, and yeah, it used to be easier for me to find a show I liked, and now that like younger people in the US are kind of just consuming it as normal media, like you're saying, it's just like, okay, well, I could have put anime on this list and just ruined our night. Like I've watched a lot of anime this year. I've bounced off a lot of anime this year. It just like, it's a whole thing. You know?
All right. So we've got that at 3. The top 2 are shows we've talked about. I don't know how much more in depth we want to go.
It's kind of boring from here on out.
Succession season 4 is number 2, and The Bear season 2 is number 1.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So
good.
Yeah, I actually did put Bear because I knew that we had all seen that. I think for me, I still would put Succession season 4, but Bear season 2 represents all of us pretty well.
That makes sense. The only other place I guess we could go is, do you think Succession ended on the right note? Do you think it could have gone longer?
I think it was the right note, but I do kind of feel like when I look at it, I can see that they didn't know that they were going to end.
Yeah.
Because they didn't.
Yeah.
They finished, they wrapped, they shot everything, and then decided, oh, that should be the end of the show.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
Right.
Unless I'm super confused. Like, I think I heard Jesse Armstrong say that.
Yeah.
So that might bother me like a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it the other day and realizing like, oh yeah, it would have been different. You don't have Brian Cox anymore.
Yeah.
But they were set up to keep going. They've got Tom as the new antagonist, which would have been interesting. I wouldn't say fun because it's like you almost lose one of your fun characters so that the plot can keep going.
Right.
Yeah, it ended in a grimmer place than I think the show had typically been, and I think that's appropriate.
Yeah.
Like, my main thing with that show, it's not that I wanted to see the characters be miserable, but I think what made it work is that it's not wealth porn. I think some people are confused about Succession and think it's wealth porn.
Yeah.
I think you're watching it wrong because it doesn't look fun to me.
No,
to
these
be
people
those
are all miserable. Yeah.
It looks stressful as fuck, and I wouldn't want to be any of those people. And I think the finale sold that.
Yeah.
So, what about you?
Yeah, I think when I first heard that it was going to be the last season, I was obviously disappointed just because it's one of my favorite shows. Like, kind of like you said earlier, just getting to hang out with these characters was great. Like, I miss getting to see what old Tom and Greg are getting into. Mm-hmm. Hearing Kieran Culkin just with the best insults you've ever heard. But as I watched season 4, it felt kind of stretched. Like they were running out of places to go. What's his name? Alexander Skarsgård is kind of just looming as this threat that doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, this is probably a good place to get off before it gets a little too desperate. But
for sure,
it was good. Yeah. And then The Bear. Are you excited to see where season 3 goes?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Did you like this season better than season 1?
I don't know. That's a good question. I hadn't thought about it too much. I liked it at least as much.
Equally?
Yeah, at least. And I want to see where things go. I like that they left things off with kind of uncertainty for the characters. It's like, got what you thought you wanted, but is it really what you wanted? I think that's an interesting idea. So I want to see what they do with that.
Yeah, that's our consensus.
So
those are the TV tiers.
All right, but since I'm not going to do a write-up, I thought I would recap the list.
All right.
Like, go through them all. But I also have, like, a joke to go with each show.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So here we go.
Chug a beer.
Chug a beer. I'm probably going to cut this in the edit room. Oh, this starts off so rough, too. I couldn't come up with a good one.
Do the jokes get better as the shows get better? Or
No, they're all supposed to be mean.
Okay.
But I'll let you know when we're getting into like a good stretch so you can have a bit more relaxation. But yeah, it starts off rough, guys. Futurama, more like present trauma from watching this season.
Okay.
Right?
Here we go.
Shrinking, yeah, my brain.
See what you did.
Strange Planet.
So this is just a roast on the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm also like recapping them in order. It starts from the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Strange Planet, more like Strange Decision. Rick and Morty, more like Diet Rick and Morty. I like that one. Loki, they say Loki's a trickster god. Well, maybe he tricked me into watching this dumb show. Invincible, more like Vincible. Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, more like Legacy of Trash. The Idol, more like The Idol. That's more of a spelling one. It's hard.
Yeah.
IDLE, right?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck's he talking about?
Twisted Metal, more like The Idol. Regular spelling, IDOL, right? All right. Ahsoka, more like Ajoka.
Yep.
Mandalorian, more like Maxasnorian.
There's a theme here. I get it. Okay.
I'm a Virgo. Well, I'm a Sagittarius. Get with the program. Yellow Jackets, more like My Morning Jacket, who I assume is bad. Oh, I had an alternate here. More like purple Jinko jeans. Okay, we got some good ones here. Ted Lasso, more like Ted Asso. Barry, more like barely. Swarm, actually a fitting name, given the swarm of unfinished ideas the show throws at you.
There you go.
Never have I ever enjoyed this show.
Wait, are they all mean?
Yeah.
Don't you like
said
something
they're all-
at some point?
Well, but like most of the list was positive, so I was like,
Okay.
I'll just bounce
This is the
out.
mean. Yeah, we gotta get the
we
mean
gotta
stuff out.
continue up the negativity of the show. I think you should leave. Don't mind if I do. Marvelous Miss Maisel, more like Marvel movies.
Okay.
Silo, more like Silo Nara suckers. Ben saw that one coming.
Yup.
A murder at the end of the world, more like a viewer at the end of his rope. Harley Quinn. Oh god, this is the worst one. More like Barley Din. I was like,
Barley Din?
yeah, like barley for dinner. You know, like
Ted.
it's hard, dude. It's Harley Quinn. That's a hard one.
Harley did.
I feel like I'm in Jimmy Fallon's writer room.
Yeah, you are. Gen V, more like envy of a better show.
Yeah.
Perry Mason. Mason is a first name, idiot. What We Do in the Shadows, more like why do I watch these bad shows?
That's the winner.
The Righteous Gemstones, more like noxious ham bones. That one's terrible. Only Murders in the Building. Only murdered my brain. Okay, this is the best. All right, here's a nice little stretch here.
Did you write these in order or?
Yeah, no, I made sure to finish the assignment before moving on to the next one. The after party, the after farty. Party down, farty down.
right.
Jury duty, more like fury poopy. The other two, more like number two. The Last of Us, more like the gas of us.
A lot of poop.
You like
Oh
that?
my god.
All right, here we go. We're
Good
almost
theming.
done. Poker face, more like mediocre face. Slow horses, more like so remorseless. Boo, that was bad. Beef, more like thief of my time. Mrs. Davis, what a great show.
That's the funniest thing you've said all night.
Fargo, more like Argo. The Curse, more like disperse from the couch. The Bear, I don't care.
You just told on yourself. You went out of order. The bear
Oh,
wasn't
I
number
did.
one.
You're right. Yep. There's where I switched them.
The bear was number 3.
Or no, here it's number 2.
Oh shit.
Did I miss something else?
Yeah.
Oh, I made
Succession.
this before. No, Succession.
Scavenger's Reign.
More like oppression. So I missed Scavenger's Reign. Shit.
Yeah.
I made this before I even watched that show. Apparently.
Did you do the curse?
Yeah, the Curse is
Disperse.
more like disperse
Yeah.
from the couch.
On the couch. Okay.
All right.
All right, I'm sorry.
On that note, we will disperse.
On that note,
Dispersing.
We will be back with the movie tiers.
For more, visit internetkilledthevideostore.com.